Prepare to be hypnotized.
Coming up on Crossfire Collectibles, the G.I. Joe Classified Series number 159, Richard Crystal Ball King. Stick around. What's up and welcome to Crossfire Collectibles. Today's video, we're going to be unboxing and reviewing the G.I. Joe Classified Series number 159, Walmart exclusive, Richard Crystal Ball King. So I figured it got delayed a little bit. He was pushed back a few months. Some lucky people out there were able to get him a little early, but not me. I had actually canceled orders twice and went ahead and got a trio of these. I'm going to hand one over to Mel that way I got it figured, and I'm going to hang on to an extra just for a rainy day. But we got Crystal Ball in hand. He is the new Walmart exclusive, and here he is. So first, we will check out the box. You can see Cobra Richard Crystal Ball King. This is based off Stephen King and his son's creation of the Crystal Ball character in G.I. Joe Comics. So you can see the black and blue carbon fiber up here on the front. Very nice. Off to the side, here you have a picture of that wicked look with the hypnotizing skull coming through, as well as that horned skull mask he's wearing. You have a shot of some stats right here. 159 up at the top. QR code if you would like to scan it. Around to the back, here you have a picture of Crystal Ball standing up a rooftop. You have someone in the background as well as a helicopter. You got a close-up of that kind of octoglow mask, I like to call it. Shot of his bicep tattoos right here. Stats again if you'd like to see them. 159 at the top. Your basic attention stuff down here. Off to the side, nice artist render. So Crystal Ball is holding that crystal ball with the tentacles coming up on it and the skull inside. And then you see a closer image of that artist render of the mask here. Kind of, I called it Octoglow. It just looks like it has, remember Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean movie? He's kind of has that tentacle look in the front. Looks like a couple of fish-related, maybe gills or flippers here on the side. And then he has those horns at the top, followed by the two red eyes and that center all-seeing eye right there in the middle of his head. Very cool. 159 real big at the bottom. Here you have his UPC at the bottom of the packaging. Up at the top, Cobra logo and 159. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and pop this open. But first, please subscribe to the channel. All right, Crystal Ball. So I've been waiting for this one. I always liked Crystal Ball as a kid, mainly that little hypnotic shield he came with. I think it was just super cool. And then reading his file card, you know, he was like the Cobra hypnotist and he was from a gypsy camp. He had a pretty cool little backstory, but I know a lot of people hated him. I enjoyed him for one. Here's some crap. But yeah, I always kind of put him with my Dreadnoughts. I thought he would be a nice fit with them, and he worked out pretty good. So here's the figure in his plastic dungeon. And we're going to pick up this little backdrop here. You have the red and black with the Cobra logos all over it. And then you have his shield right here. So we're going to get this out as well as that front hypnotic kind of snake skull look. Go through all his accessories, pop them out one by one, and we'll check everything out. Alright, so here you have Crystal Ball and all of his accessories. So we're going to start at the left, and the one thing I wanted to see the most, and here is his shield. So a little hypnotism. You got that skull with the snakes coming all through it. You can move it. It almost has that old Secret Wars look where you can move the shields and they have like a little bit of movement on it. Looks like the snakes are moving. Really neat. I kind of wonder why they didn't use the classic picture. You know, with that. It was kind of the outer rings of this, but it had the center. You know, it's in the thumbnail of this video, but it was really cool. You got the shield here. It looks like there's a bit of a coil around it. Almost looks like a snake that's biting itself or eating itself right here. So it was pretty neat for an outer edge. Around to the back, nice detail on it. Almost has that kind of interlooping star design. A couple of studs around on the outer area. And then you have your little handle and forearm piece here, so you can slide it onto the figure's arm and you can hold it. Probably go in his right arm, so that way the skull and snakes are facing straight up. So really neat. Second portion here, you have this little translucent green skull with the snakes going through it. And I'm thinking you just pop this right onto here and you kind of have an extra layer on that shield. Could be wrong, but we're going to see. Let's see how it fits in. And it does. So if you want the underneath, you can have it. The outer, that gives a little extra effects, so pretty neat. If you were to cuff it up and see what it looks like in the dark, It doesn't look like it glows. I was just checking it off camera, but pretty neat regardless. Next up, you have a little scimitar style sword here. So black handle, pretty new design, I think. All black. It's got a little loop logo on there. A couple of hand protectors coming off the sides with a little ball on the end. A little wrapping around the handle there, coming down to that studded base. Then you have the green translucent scimitar sword. You can see it's smaller here and kind of widens towards the tip of the, well, actually more towards the middle of the sword, and it goes into a point. Kind of has that green glowy flames coming off of it. So really neat. Probably some kind of magic or mystic art or something like that, but pretty neat. Moving on, we have his pistol. So it looks like a kind of an old style Colt 6-shooter revolver. A little bit of detail on the handle here, and then you have this coil coming up around the edge of the barrel. Could be a snake. I can't really see it that well, but it is in a kind of a gold metallic color. Pistol is all black. Looks pretty good. He does have a holster, so it'll likely just fit right into that. But all right. A secondary hand. So you can see this is an opened left hand. So you have that kind of scaly, almost gray look to it with a little bit of that brown gold accents in it. Makes it almost look reptilian, so really neat. Got the pointed fingertips. Probably just a part of a glove, but it really looks cool. Very, very snake-like. I like it. You have that hinge peg down here, so the hand could angle down and up. Looks like a couple of gripped hands on the figure itself, including a trigger finger. He only has one glove on, the other is off bare. We see a couple rings on there, but we'll get to that when we go to the figure. So next up, we're going to look at his extra head here. So also in that green translucent, you can see a lot more detail in it, you know, not from the artist render, but actually of the head itself. And it is actually a head, not a helmet. So you have to pop that one off and throw this one on. You can see the ball socket down in there. Tentacles coming off, the two red eyes, and then the all-seeing red eye in the center. Those nice horns coming up off the top. Really, really looks good. I like it. I'm not going to put this on him, but I am going to do it for the purpose of the video, and we'll check it out how it looks once we mess with the figure. But pretty neat. And then the final accessory, we have his crystal ball. So here it is. You have that little circular see-through clear glass here. It is kind of rubbery, so it does move. It's not one solid piece. Inside of it, it looks like another skull, and it's surrounded by this base with the tentacles coming up off of it. So really a neat addition here. Looks really good. I think it could have been a little bit bigger, but then again, I think about the movies and all, you know, when one of the gypsies are using a crystal ball, they're not gigantic. They are more or less about this size. So you could hold it right in front of them, something like that. I don't know, I'll figure some kind of use out for it, but overall pretty neat. Nice accessories. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the figure here. So let's check him out. First thing, we'll get a close-up of that portrait. You see, very, very wicked looking, very Vincent Pricey. It's got that hair, you know, with the gray streak in the front and on the sides. A little bit of makeup coming down off of his eyes, unless it's burnt in skin, you know, from using kind of dark magic. Looks like he has some fangs as well, and then he has those, little bit of a cat eye in there almost with that slit. Really cool. Up here around his neck, he's got a couple of necklaces. You see the green pendant here, and then the gold one on that one. You see a little bit of the tattoo coming through on his chest here. He also has that marking on his shirt. I'm not sure what that is, but still pretty neat. Then down to his belt buckle here, that gold metallic and another symbol in there. Almost looks like the Cobra symbol, but more or less with a kind of the rills or the side piece coming up around the Cobra, but inside looks like an eyeball to me. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it's still pretty neat. He's got the fur coming around like the traditional figure. The figure did have a vest on. This one has more of a long, almost trench coat. It does have some weathering at the bottom, so you can see the rips and pieces hanging down. You can see the tattoo here on his left arm. Not totally a band, but a couple pieces here on the bicep and tricep. And again on this side, a little bit on the side right there, and on the back of the tricep here. Down to his gauntlets, you see they also have some wild looking design on them. You have that green gem right here. On this side, there's nothing, but you can see the other clawed hand coming down off of this little gauntlet here. So it's supposed to add all into one. Pretty neat looking, if you ask me, but you know, it is what it is. And then the right hand, you can see it's got the 4 rings on his fingers. Pretty good detail there. Down to the gray pants, which are traditional, as well as the black boots. They look new. I haven't seen these before. They got some new designs in them. so that's pretty nice. But overall, I think the figure looks good. I actually thought he had long hair at first, but a little bit longer than the older figures that we've seen. It was a little bit shorter in the back, so he grew it out a little bit. But still, I think the figure looks great. So we're going to check out his articulation, starting at the head. Head is on a ball joint, and it can rotate a full 360. And as you can see, it will also take that necklace with it. So we'll bring that back around and straighten it back up. It can move forward, backward, and side to side, and there's also range of motion in the lower neck. Over at the arms, they are attached at butterfly joints, so they can angle in and out. Due to the overcoat and those shoulder pads, his arms seem to only want to come up about this far, so not far at all with all that mess in the way. They can rotate the full 360, however. There's bicep rotation. Looks like the shoulder bells are attached to that actual shoulder, so that's probably also another reason for the limited mobility. You have double jointed pinless elbows. You don't have a forearm swivel, but you do have that rotating hand down here that's attached at that hinge peg. Allow that hand to move downward and upward and can rotate a full 360. And over to the side, this hand will also move downward and upward. We're going to pop this one off, and we're going to give him the more open hand because I like the look of it. Kind of creepy looking. We're going to go ahead and check out his torso. So you can see he's got ab crunch that far forward and about that far back with the coat on. He's got some side-to-side movement and waist swivel. Down at the legs, up at the top, at the hips, you have a very nice drop leg. They can come forward that far. Back with the long coat on about that far. And out to the side that far. Thigh rotation. Double jointed pinless knees. You have a calf rotation at the bottom of the pant, the top of the boot. Down the ankle, you have that hinge to allow the foot to go that far forward, that far up, and a side-to-side pivot. You have holes at the bottom of each feet, so you can plug the figure into a stand if you like. And then you can see a new style holster here on his left thigh. Pretty cool looking, all brown. Got a bit of designs on it as well, so pretty cool. All right, before we gear him up totally, I do want to check out the other head. So we're going to go ahead and pop this one off. The head came off pretty easily, so we're going to go ahead and check out this crazy demonic head here. And there it is. So really wild looking. I mean, this may be a reason to open a second figure. You know, I do have an extra for myself that I said I was saving for a rainy day, but I doubt I'm going to open it just to have that extra head on him. But this does look really cool. It's not what I'm used to, but very cool. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of that. Pop his regular head back on. I do think I want to leave this hand on though. But we're going to go ahead and get his pistol and move the coat out the way and slide the pistol into his holster right here. And it fits nicely. Go ahead and put the coat back over that. I do want to give him his shield. I thought about giving him this little scimitar here, but I don't think I'll be able to give him everything and have him hold that unless I have the other hand on it. But I kind of wanted to go and put the crystal ball in this hand. I thought that would be cool. So I'm not sure what I want to do with it, but I think this might be one of the choices right here with the crystal ball. Yeah, I'm gonna have him looking at that because that looks pretty good. Head popped off and put that back on. But I don't think I'm gonna use the sword. So unfortunately, I'm gonna get rid of that, and I am gonna give him his shield. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop that hand into it right here and get that fingers around that little holder at the bottom. And there we go. We'll kind of have this up on his arm like that. I think it looks cool. So yeah, I think that's going to be our pose for our crystal ball. I think it looks good like that. So let's go ahead and get him stood up properly. Get his accessories put back a little bit. Now I think we're going to go ahead and bring in a few comparisons. So since Crystal Ball is a Walmart exclusive, we're going to go ahead and compare him with some other Walmart exclusive. So here he is with the Night Force Big Ben. Here's Crystal Ball with the Night Force Quarrel. And looking just fantastic together, here is Crystal Ball with the Range Viper. Alright, so that was some comparisons for you. Now we're going to go ahead and toss the figure up onto the turntable and we'll give you some final thoughts.
G.I. Joe will return after these messages.
Be sure to check out our previous videos. A link will always be pinned in the comments.
back to G.I. Joe.
All right, so here you have it, the G.I. Joe Classified Series number 159, Walmart exclusive, Cobra's Richard Crystal Ball King. Very, very cool figure. Finally, we got him. I mean, after the delay, you know, I was just like, oh God, what are they going to do with him? I really wanted the Crystal Ball figure. As I mentioned, I had him when I was a kid, and he looks so much better now since he's been modernized. He looks so good. I love the hypnotic shield. I love the extra effect that you can add onto it. The addition of that extra head is very, very cool. And the Crystal Ball, that is probably the coolest accessory he can come with. He's got that scimitar here with the glowing green flames on it, the extra hand, that wild-looking gauntlet that almost looks snake-like, and then almost the classic outfit, except for the coat being longer now. I think it really looks great. He's got a little bit of a longer hairdo in the back, but overall, the figure looks fantastic. Nice tattoos detail. He's got the fur from the classic around his collar, and the figure overall just looks really, really good. I'm so glad that they finally came out with it. I'm glad we got it in the collection, and I'm really, really super excited to add him onto the shelf. So he really looks great. All right, I think that's going to do it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed what you saw. If you did, please, like always, leave that giant thumbs up, subscribe, tickle that bell so you're notified when I post future videos. Be sure to follow us on social media, and until then, we will see you in the next one. Peace.